Everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason. Here we are at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas. And this is the report for July the 24th through July the 30th. We start with our sun. The sun has been relatively quiet. So it's been active with minor solar flares, mostly in the M class range. Mostly in the low M class range. X class is usually the ones that start to like, ooh, it might be a storm. But none of them have really had any coronal mass ejections of things flying our way. And so there are currently no big CMEs heading our direction. We did yesterday or over the last couple of days have what they call a proton storm, which is just the charged particles that come from the sun, because there was a couple of days ago a large eruption off the backside, which was not Earth directed. Proton storms really just sort of make it feel like a lot of information, like a lot of things are happening. Um, just think about it as the kind of energy that you get when you overthink, right? Or you have a lot of tasks on your to-do list. That's the kind of sort of hurried energy that you get from a proton storm. And then, of course, those kinds of things can charge up the Earth in its own magnetic stuff and things. Which was there was news this week that was interesting about Earth's electromagnetic field, and it was talking about how the Earth's electrical current creates oxygen at the depths of the ocean, and it does that by when it has charged particles that release electricity. It splits the water atoms and creates oxygen so that there is oxygen at depth. And so that's happening all the time, not just random things. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, the sun and Earth changes are always big in the news. There was that eruption or that bigger than normal burst out of that geyser at Yellowstone. And since there are so many geysers, it's not going to be a super like the entire Yellowstone blows, right? It's just going to be it off gases at a time, right? So since it was stronger, it's correlating with the stronger Earth electromagnetic interactions that are happening because of the reduced field and how much more particles get in to charge the Earth to do its own things. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about the entire park going up. Just probably more frequent things like you saw on probably the interwebs. Maybe it was on the regular news. I don't watch the regular news. So that's what's going on with the sun. Eyes up, pay attention to the sun. We are currently into a Leo season. Really sort of corresponds with a heart, a little bit of solar plexus, right? So mostly heart, lion-hearted kind of energy. So sort of if you sort of feel this change or shifts or charge in the air in the center of the chest, that's probably normal. Sometimes that will travel down to the solar plexus because that's where we get our locomotion from. But just sort of think about you're being urged, right? It's this thing like the same reason with the charged particles is like a heavy to-do list, like I got to get to the next thing. The Leo energy is I must act, right? I must create, I must shift, I must interact with my environment, my world, my career, my relationships, all that kind of stuff. So sort of feel that anxiety along top of everything else that's going on, especially if you're in the United States and you pay attention to public affairs. Excuse me. Uh, the retrogrades that we are currently under is Pluto, Saturn, and Neptune, with a little bit of Mercury pre-shadow. That pre-shadow is the time before it actually goes retrograde. So Pluto is really just about our hidden powers and things that are sort of on the inside. Sometimes it could be old hidden talents. Sometimes it could even be past life stuff. Saturn is really about creating structure and rules, finding your divine, authentic career is governed by Saturn. Neptune is really about your spiritual path. And when it goes in retrograde, really that spiritual path is taking precedent, right? So a lot of us have an inner dialogue that's going on, and so sometimes that inner dialogue is us or our small self or our what we call the ego, right? Telling us, oh, we should or we should do that, right? And that's coming from thought forms that were implanted, right? Either learned or inherited or culturally agreed upon. And when soul takes precedent, right, it's this other voice which is correcting that motion or correcting those thoughts to think bigger, to think higher potential. So look for that. Look for another voice in your head. That's the guidance of the report today. And then of course Mercury is about communication and travel. All right, so just make sure you know what you're saying and you're communicating clearly, and then double check that people are hearing you clearly during these pre-shadows, and then when Mercury actually goes full retrograde, and then pay attention for travel plans to be augmented, not necessarily canceled or ruined, but that the transportation or the route of which you think you're going to get to a certain place, even um, things you're thinking about doing in your life, that those might not go in the direction that you think they are. Oh yeah, all that stuff's happening. That's the energy we're baking in. When we get to today, Wednesday, 7/24, July the 24th. Yesterday, Pluto was just the closest it's going to be to the planet all year, right? So that Pluto retrograde um, about the inner hidden things of the self might have been evident yesterday. Today, the moon is the closest it is all month, right? So you might be sort of having the capacity, like the thought would be, I'm a spiritual being. I got a lot of deep things going on, right? And the ego will be like, but you're not special, right? And so this is the nature of being human and having a soul. And so that energy is really because the moon is this capacity to be spiritual, divine feminine, give birth to new things. So that's just going to be the energy that you're sort of dealing with today. And then also, the sun's aligned with Mars. And so that's going to start to opt in or push through that Leo energy, right? Where it's going to solar energy. Sun is about activity and action. And then Mars is about courage, sometimes war, right? So you'll be feeling courageous and optimistic about the things that you're trying to do, that not only are they possible and desired, but that they might actually happen, right? So you're like, if I act, these things are going to happen, right? And you're sort of feeling that energy today to act now. If you want to wait till tomorrow, it's going to be fine. Thursday, the 25th, is a 22 Master Day. 22 Master Day is really the idea where you can actualize what's going on in your inner mind, or that you can actualize soul's guidance or soul's desire for your life into physical reality. Sometimes you call it self-actualization. It's not necessarily, I mean, it could be enlightenment, but you're not trying to leave to go somewhere or turn the light bulb on and be different. You're trying to be what you already were, right? So you're a divine eternal soul worthy of love and affection, and you're never going to die. And so this is sort of the realization or self-actualization that that's a true statement, and you can actually be that in the here and now. Did I skip it? No, that's Thursday. uh it's like, it doesn't look like the right day on my next piece of paper that I have my notes on. Leads us into Friday the 26th. Oh, that's what's happening on Friday. It's like there's something else big happening. um Friday, Chiron, kind of little nugget planet, moon asteroid thing. Chiron goes it affects us. Chiron goes retrograde on the 26th, which makes it four planets in retrograde. And Chiron is known as the wounded healer. And you'll sort of understand that old wounds can be healed, and that the nature of wounded healer is that by nature of having experienced the wound yourself, you know how to heal others, right? And so it's almost like the 100th monkey thing. If we heal ourselves, then that vibration of the possibilities or the how to's of that take over for the group. And so what happens on an individual basis during that, when Chiron goes into retrograde, is really it starts to clarify your instincts, right? That there's a governing, I should do this, or this is the right action. And then what happens is we usually process that through our logical mind, and we start to override our higher self and our higher guidance. So pay attention to see triggers or highlights or more clarity around your instincts, right? Leads us into Saturday. Not much is happening on Saturday, except all the things that are happening, right? So sort of take Saturday as a day to let all that stuff uh, saturate you, take in all the retrogrades, and just sort of see what that energy is. Get a take on who am I with this energy going on with the agreed upon stage that is our world and all the stuff that's going on there. Leads us into Sunday, the 28th. Um, the Delta Aquarids meteor shower is peaking, right? And so when meteorites or meteor showers are hitting the earth, right, you want to think of that as tiny informations from beyond, right? So epiphanies, vivid dreams, um, all kinds of things like that can be triggered during meteor showers, of course. Sometimes visualizing that. So if you can go out and see that, and the clouds are not in the way, um, or mountains aren't in the way. I don't know. Uh, it should be in the Aquarius. So Aquarius, look into the sky where which direction you need to be looking from your location. Should be a quick Google search for that for all of you. Yeah, so that's the meteor shower peaking on the 28th, Sunday. Leads into Monday. Um, Monday's really going to be an energy of sort of feeling that your higher self really is driving. Like you'll experience synchronicities. You'll understand that I won't say that you can't do any wrong, but that even things that have seemed wrong have sort of led you to the precipice of exactly what you've asked for. It just hadn't been in the manner of which you thought it was going to arrive. And then, and then one of the other things that could happen, or one of the other thoughts to happen, is not only that it's arrived, but that you can trust that it's here to stay, and that you deserve goodness and synchronicity and alignment. Um, Not that you should like, oh, this happened now, but tomorrow not, right? So it's that, don't doubt that your higher self, that there's a system that is awakening you, and it's doing it any which way it can, and that design is starting to become evident to the awake mind, not just the dream mind or the meditative mind. Cool stuff. It's like we're in changing times. Leads us into Tuesday, July the 30th. Really just sort of it's a wrap up day, right? 31st would be the last day. We'll talk about that on Wednesday of next week. Uh, but really, the main preparation is to use, or main thing to do is preparation for August the 8th, right? 8/8, the Lions Gate, which is usually a big transitional period where we sort of move into the next iteration of um, group understanding, cosmic alignment, and then personal growth stuff sort of happens during the 8/8 gateway. So pay attention to that. I think that's everything. I think that's everything that's happening this week. Of course, other things are happening. Check your own charts. See how these affect you individually. Those are usually, you can find those online. I don't have my own website for stuff like that. But like astrology.com or something like that, and getting a free, here's what my chart is, and here's what these things are doing to me personally, and where these planets and things are in my own chart, and parts of your life that might be highlighted during that. Of course, I'm here in Due Divisions Crystals and Reiki in downtown Vernon, Texas. If you're in the area and all of the stuff is just blowing your mind or causing your body to have a little bit of pent up energy, go online to dimensionscrystals.com, sign up for a session. Um, of course, you can just come by and chat if you want to. Come buy some crystals, buy some incense, all of these things that are layers that we can affect or clear ourselves and focus ourselves on what's actually happening and who we really are is all cool stuff. I think that's all I'm going to say. I've talked on long enough. Until next week, everybody, many blessings.